Fast food jobs seem simple: serving meals, handling crowds, earning a paycheck. But for some workers, the shift turned into pure terror. These are 3 chilling true stories where ordinary fast food jobs became scenes of fear, danger, and nightmares. 1. When a manager's mentor became a stalker. Jessica was a young woman full of ambition when she landed a management position at a popular fast food chain in a suburban town. She loved the fast-paced environment and was proud to lead a team, mostly teenagers and young adults eager to make their way. The job was demanding, but Jessica was good at it. She felt safe. That all changed because of one employee, Mark. Mark was 22, quiet, and kept to himself, making him initially unremarkable. But within weeks, Jessica started noticing unsettling behavior. He would arrive early before his shift, waiting silently near the manager's office or the parking lot. She told him politely that it made her uncomfortable, but he shrugged it off as friendliness. Then Mark began sending her messages on social media. They weren't harmless messages. They came at odd hours like 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. with obsessive and inappropriate comments about her. Jessica blocked him, but he created new accounts to keep messaging. One night, after closing, Jessica was locking up when she noticed a car parked across the street. The driver kept the lights off, sitting and staring at the restaurant. When she called the police, the car sped away, but the sense of danger lingered. Not long after, Jessica found a note taped to her windshield that said, "You belong to me." The situation escalated quickly. Jessica reported Mark to the police and a restraining order was put in place, but the trauma didn't stop there. Mark had been obsessed and dangerous. Jessica changed her phone number, moved apartments, and lived in constant fear for months. This wasn't just a creepy employee, it was a terrifying case of stalking, and it happened in a place where she should have felt secure. For Jessica, the job that once felt safe became a trap. 2. The night shift intruder at Taco Floor. In November 2016, 19-year-old Carlos Mendez worked the overnight shift, 10 p.m. 6 a.m., at Taco Floor, a 24-hour Mexican fast food chain located on a secluded stretch of East Boulevard in Monroe, Michigan. Known for its late-night crowd, college students, truckers, and insomniacs, Taco Floor typically saw a few dozen customers between midnight and dawn. The store had a minimal staff, usually just one cook, one cashier, and an overnight janitor who arrived at 2 a.m. Carlos had worked at Taco Floor since graduating high school. He was dependable and tiptoed around the store after hours, cleaning, stocking, and occasionally doubling as security by scanning the parking lot from the paper-thin windows. On November 16, around 3:20 a.m., Carlos was behind the counter when he noticed a silhouette leaning against the drive-thru window. The guy wasn't placing an order. Instead, he had one hand pressed flat against the glass, staring straight at Carlos. It felt off, like he was sizing him up. Carlos greeted the figure through the intercom. No response. The man tapped the window, and a dull thud echoed inside. Carlos' pulse quickened. He pressed the panic button beneath the register, which was supposed to alert the manager's phone. But because the store was understaffed that night, the panic alert didn't reach anyone. Carlos retreated to the employee bathroom and called 911 from his cell. By the time dispatchers traced his location, he heard a loud crash, the cash register drawer being smashed open. Through the bathroom door's small window, he saw a man wearing a hooded sweatshirt wielding a crowbar over the plexiglass window panel. Carlos locked the restroom door, held it tightly, and crouched beside the sink. Through the walls, he could hear the intruder's footsteps, the crowbar tapping against metal shelving, and the sound of drawers ripping apart. Every few minutes, the intruder would swing at the bathroom door handle, trying to force it open. After about 10 minutes, a lifetime, Carlos noticed the intruder had diverted attention to the far side of the restaurant, rummaging through the employees' lockers in search of valuables. Summoning courage, he used a small window in the stall door, meant for emergency opening, to slip out into the hallway, hands raised. The intruder turned and began wrestling him. Carlos fought back by kneeing him in the groin, then sprinting toward the front door. Police cars screeched into Taco Floor's parking lot just as Carlos burst out of the door, bloodied and terrified. By the time officers tackled the intruder, later identified as Daniel "Danny" Ortiz, a 34-year-old local with a history of burglary and assault. The man had already smashed several registers and stolen a small safe containing about $2,500. He was also carrying a bag filled with stolen employee wallets, electronics, and a stash of methamphetamines, suggesting he planned a drug-fueled heist all night. Ortiz received a 25-year prison sentence. Taco Floor installed bulletproof windows, upgraded security cameras, and hired a 24/7 security guard. But for Carlos, nothing truly felt safe again. He quit the job 6 months later and took a day shift position at a corporate call center. He still avoids nighttime shifts, even at his current job. 3. The customer who stalked and threatened an employee. In September 2015, Emily Tran, a 22-year-old college student, began working part-time at a McDonald's located in downtown Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Known as a high-traffic location, this restaurant served late-night crowds, especially on weekends when the bars closed and crowds spilled into the streets. Emily usually worked 10 a.m. 4 p.m., but occasionally picked up swing shifts, 4 p.m. 10 p.m., to earn extra cash for semester expenses. She was friendly, courteous, and prided herself on her ability to manage the drive-through window swiftly. Over the course of 6 weeks, Emily noticed one particular customer, a man in his late 30s, always ordering the same meal: 2 Big Macs, large fries, and a vanilla milkshake. At first, it was unnerving but easy to ignore. Every time he came through her window, he'd stare directly at her, almost as if sizing her up. Emily chalked it up to someone who liked making eye contact, but grew uncomfortable when he started lingering near the window for extra seconds. By late October, she overheard him asking her coworkers about her schedule. What days does she work? Is she here now? These questions came in hushed tones, but Emily's colleagues confirmed it heard them. One afternoon, following a weekend shift, Emily discovered a small bouquet of wilted daisies and a note taped to the front door of her apartment building. The note read, "You looked so beautiful today. Thank you for the extra smile." She guessed it was from the Big Mac guy, but had no proof. A few weeks later, the intensity ratcheted up. Emily began receiving friend requests on Facebook from accounts with generic names: Aiden Parker, Michael Fowler, Street Surveillance 1. Their profiles had only a handful of friends, no mutual connections, and no real photos. Every request was accompanied by a message: "Hi Emily, it's Steve, the guy from McDonald's. Remember me?" Emily blocked these accounts repeatedly, only to see new ones appear a day or two later. At 2 a.m. one Saturday, Emily's roommate woke her with a start. Emily's phone had been ringing from an unknown number that displayed only private caller. When she answered, a deep male voice said, "You're mine. You can't hide." Then the line went dead. Checking the caller ID history, she saw 15 missed calls from private numbers that month, all around midnight to 3 a.m. One Friday in November, Emily finished her 10 a.m. shift early to meet friends downtown. She locked up the McDonald's drive-thru and headed to her car, parked a block away. As she walked, she sensed someone behind her. Glancing back, she saw a shadowy figure wearing a dark hoodie, following at a distance. She quickened her pace and ducked into a crowded cafe until the person disappeared into the night. Once home, she found her front window cracked, like someone had tried to pry it open. Emily reported every incident to the Pittsburgh Police Department in late November 2015. At first, officers told her they needed proof linking the incidents to the man at McDonald's. Without a direct confession or a single arrest, all they could do was document the reports. However, Emily worked with a local victim advocate who helped file a formal complaint, describing the exact text messages she'd received, saved in her phone. The flowers with a makeshift "I love you" note. The night she saw a man in a hoodie. The private number calls threatening her. After weeks of mounting evidence, an officer managed to trace one of the private numbers to a disposable burner phone purchased near that McDonald's. That line connected to 58-year-old Steve Hartman, a local delivery driver with no previous criminal record, but a bizarre obsession with celebrities and young women. police executed a search warrant on Hartman's apartment in a rundown complex 2 miles from Emily's home. The horrifying discovery. Inside Hartman's one-bedroom apartment, police uncovered a trove of terrifying evidence. Several small cameras were found hidden behind picture frames and flower pots, positioned precisely to record the drive-through window and the sidewalk outside. Police reviewed footage showing Hartman creeping in the shadows whenever Emily left the building, and once captured him on video prying her window. In a locked closet, officers discovered a scrapbook stuffed with cutout photos of Emily, stolen from her Facebook profile, screen captures from McDonald's security footage, and a Polaroid he'd snapped through her window. Alongside each photo, Hartman had scribbled rambling notes. "She's perfect at 10:14 a.m. Must protect her. Can't let her slip away." A small box contained lock-picking tools, several different cellular SIM cards, a switchblade, and a pair of handcuffs. In his diary, Hartman had detailed his stalking. "I watch her every night. She doesn't know I'm watching. Soon, I'll make her mine." Hartman was arrested on December 2, 2015, and charged with stalking, criminal trespass, possession of burglary tools, harassment by telephone. During pre-trial interviews, he admitted to stalking Emily for nearly 3 months, justifying his actions as true love. In April 2016, he pled guilty to aggravated stalking and was sentenced to 10 years in prison, followed by 5 years of supervised probation. Emily's emotional scars ran deep. She testified in court, describing sleepless nights, panic attacks, and ceaseless fear for her safety. She eventually moved to a different city, changed her last name, and began working remotely as an online customer service representative, vowing never to return to fast food. Over the next 2 years, she underwent intensive therapy for generalized anxiety disorder and PTSD. Even now, in interviews, she admits, "I can't drive by a McDonald's without a knot in my stomach." The next time you pull up to the drive-thru or grab a burger, remember the people behind the counter. Some of them have faced unimaginable fear and danger just doing their job. The stories of Jessica, Carlos, and Emily are just 3 examples among many, but they shine a light on a hidden reality. Sometimes, working in fast food is more than just flipping burgers, it's surviving nightmares. Thank you for listening. Stay safe and always respect those who serve you, no matter where they work.